What's up, guys? This is Showtime's Fight Forum. You already know what it is. This is your boy Showtime, where we talk all things fights. Make sure you follow me on all social medias at Papa Showtime, Josh Showtime, whichever one you find me. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff. And let's get right to the nitty-gritty, man. Today's gonna be boxing, and I'm talking about one of the up-and-coming prospects who honestly has arrived, but it's not a person that people are super familiar with unless you actually are into boxing, and that is SHAKUR Stevenson. SHAKUR Stevenson was the unified, and I have to say was because he got stripped, we'll talk about that in a second, was the unified super featherweight champion, and the guy's 25 years old. I mean, phenomenal boxer, like legit can be in the pound for pound rankings right now. But once again, this is a person that we haven't heard of yet. I mean, a lot of people haven't heard of as of yet, but the talent level is up there with anybody right now. So he had a fight this past weekend against Robson. I'm not gonna butcher his last name. I'm sorry, I'm super bad at pronouncing that. I'm gonna get better. I have to say that because I can't be doing this without not being able to, say these guys' names, especially since in fight game, we already know these people throughout the whole entire world. There's gonna be some real crazy names. This isn't that crazy of a name, but I just didn't want to disrespect the guy by even doing it. So I'm just gonna say Robson because that is his name. So this was once again supposed to be for his unified belt. He has all the belts he had all the belts at 130, and he was defending it against a two-time Olympian, a former gold medalist, a guy who was only lost to Oscar Valdez, who we all know was on the juice. And that was a competitive fight as well. So this was a very, very tough obstacle for him. This guy is tall, lanky, he's a bit awkward. And he obviously has the pedigree of amateur boxer. But yet and still, SHAKUR is going to be the favorite because once again, he is a person that's supposed to be a pound for pound king in the future. And I've already said I think he is one of the best already in the world. So first things first, the guy missed weight. We already know we have to be respectful of making weight. That is an important thing. That is something that needs to happen. I mean, I get it. He's a big guy, especially for that weight. He's 25, he's still growing into his man body. He wasn't gonna be there much longer anyways. So in reality, was it a big deal? No, but is it a big deal? Yes. And it's a contradiction, but you get it if you get it. You have to be professional, you have to make weight. It sucks even if it's a pound and a half, you gotta make it. And he says, I tried to make it, my body just couldn't do it, this, that, and the third. In reality, I call BS. I say this all the time. I am a wrestler. I have made weight. I've missed weight. I know for a fact what it looks like and what it seems like. The person really did all they could and their body locked up for a person that was like, nah, I can't do it. Let's put an example, right? I do fight, so I do MMA and I do boxing. Habib literally pulled out of a fight because he couldn't make weight. You wanna know why? Because he actually did everything in his power to make weight, but he couldn't do it. So he couldn't compete. So he withdrew from the fight. That is a person that really give it their absolute all to make the weight. Now, I'm not saying that SHAKUR Stevenson should have done that. He's smart for not doing that. I wouldn't do it either if I was in SHAKUR's shoes. I'm the A side, I have all the belts. Well, even though I got stripped, I'm the name, I'm the attraction everybody wants to come see. At the end of the day, you're gonna take this fight because it's probably gonna be the biggest amount of money you're gonna get. So why would I do all I absolutely can to make this weight and then drain myself and possibly, hinder my chance of winning? Even if I can win drained out, but why would I even risk it? And then I could just, miss weight by a pound. You'll still take it. I'll take your little, you can take my money. It is what it is. I got bigger fights ahead that's gonna make me 10 times more. Yeah, that's smart. So I do think he was fluked by saying he did all he could. He didn't, but I understand why he didn't. I wouldn't have. But yet and still, it is what it is. He missed weight. He owned up to it, and it's time to move on. At the end of the day, it's a pound and a half. It's boxing, man. Like, realistically, these guys are somewhat around the same weight, so the better man is gonna win. So it's not one of those, they're gonna bulk up and he's gonna be 20, 30 pounds heavier. No, they're gonna probably be within 10 pounds of each other. And it is what it is. Let's box. The fight was fun for me. I don't think it's always gonna be a fun fight for people because here's the thing. One, I love the fact that SHAKUR is a lot more offensive. I do believe that we're gonna get two versions of SHAKUR depending on who he fights. If he fights a person that packs power or has a threat of a knockout, he's not gonna fight how he did Saturday. He's just not. He's gonna be defensively sound and he's gonna pick you apart and he's gonna win. However, if he does not pose you as a threat, he will try to go for the finish and he will be a super aggressive guy. So you get the money mate and you get the pretty boy. It depends on which side, which opponent he's going against. This guy didn't really offer much as a knockout artist, so we saw him become more aggressive. Same thing with Jamal Herring. He didn't present much of a knockout chance, so he was like, all right, I'm gonna get this guy out of there. Now, the only difference was Robson was actually able to, do enough tricks to be able to survive the fight. He was able to hold when he needed to. He did get dropped twice. It was only reported once, but he got dropped twice. But he was able to survive, and he was able to use his legs to get away from, more devastating shots. But I mean, I had a hard time giving him more than a round, for real. Like it was weird because some people on Twitter was trying to make it seem like Shakur was like either being really, really competitive or he was kind of losing. And I'm like, I don't know what fight you're watching, but it's not that close at all, actually. So yeah, I think I had it scored at actually 11-1 Shakur. And you can say I'm being a Shakur homer, but I'm really not, man. Like the guy, like anytime Robson even landed anything, he would get countered with something else. And Shakur was really walking this man down. And it's weird because when you envision walking down, you think of a person that's walking down and just throwing heavy bombs. That's not really what he was doing. He was walking him down methodically and still landing sharp punches while still being defensively sound. Granted, he got clipped a couple times, but it wasn't anything crazy to make him stumble or really, second guess what he was doing. So it's just so much going on when it comes to the intricacies and the footwork and the placement of his shots. It's just really, really sharp. But yet and still, he won. He cleaned out the division. 130, I mean, I didn't really care for him to fight again. After he won the unification, I'm like, bro, just go ahead and go to 135. But he wanted to defend his belts, cool. Now, let's move on. Let's talk about the thing that really matters, which is 135. One of the most talented divisions in the world, in all of boxing, is 135. There's the top 10 that's a tough top 10. Top 5 is a very tough top 5. Top 3 is, honestly, you can argue 3 of those guys can be in the pound for pound list. You can make arguments. That's how tough that daggone division is. Now Shakur's gonna make his way up there, and this is where Shakur's gonna make his name, where he's gonna make his money, and this is where he's gonna dictate what type of legacy he has. Now, some guys are kind of trying to go out. Some guys are, like Teofimo, he's already at 140. Ryan is talking about going to 140. I've even heard a little bit about Tank going to 140. All these guys talking about going to 140. However, you can't duck and dodge the guy for too long. He's gonna be there. You're gonna have to fight him. And I don't think Teofimo, Tank, any of them are really ducking him. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, eventually you're gonna have to fight him. But at 135, there's nothing but tough fights for him. And these are fights where you can make points that he could lose. There's the Devin Haney fight. There is the Tank fight. You have the Lomachenko fight. But then you also have interesting matchups like Isaac Cruz, or you have the Ryan Garcias, or you have like a Jojo Diaz. You have these tough fights and fighters that can give this guy more go than he did at 130. So I'm definitely interested in seeing how this whole thing goes. I mean, I already told you, I think that he's eventually going to be the pound for pound king. And I don't think anybody at 135 is going to really mess with them. I am very interested to see how a Devin Haney and Shakur fight go. But here's the craziest thing too, that like you really don't pay attention to until you actually look it up, which is Shakur's older than Devin Haney. Devin Haney's like 23. He's young as hell. And this man is the king at 135. First of all, we got to give a clap up for that. To accomplish what he's accomplished at 23, then you have people like a Tank, like a Ryan Garcia, who has the background and the pedigree of has an amateur background, but none of these guys have any real belts at 135. But the king right now is 23. So I gotta give him credit for that. So yeah, but like I said, you also got the Lomachenko fight. If I had to sit here and say which fight would I want to see Shakur in first, his first fight into 135, realistically, it's always gonna be the title fight. You were a unified belt. Yes, you got stripped, but it is what it is. You're champ first champ. Let's see who's the best. That's always ideal. However, if you want to talk about a straight stylistic matchup that I'm just like, I really need to see, it is Lomachenko versus Shakur Stevenson. I mean, you have the footwork, the wizardry of Lomachenko versus the master, the great defense. Honestly, really good combinations, really good, solid, accurate punches in Shakur. And these guys going head to head. I mean, come on, man. Why would we not? Who would not want to see that fight? Like, come on, man. That's amazing. Granted, Lomachenko has a fight coming up. I really do want to see him go how he looks versus Ortiz. And depending on how that goes, it's like, granted, I know he's going to end up getting the title shot versus Haney, but yet and still, I really want to see that matchup. I want to see how that plays out. Lomachenko is past his prime. Shakur is not even in his prime. So, I mean, it's a match that's going to be very interesting. You still have the old vet versus the young gun, and Lomachenko still has tricks up his sleeve. He's still a great opponent. I think that would be the best first fight, in my opinion. It still gives him a chance and all that good stuff. However, I want to hear what you guys think. What do you think about the lightweight division? How's it going to unfold? Do you think everybody's going to duck each other? I don't think Shakur is the type of person to duck anybody. I know Devin Haney doesn't duck anybody. So it's going to be a very fun next couple of years, honestly, in this division. But as always, man, y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Showtime. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I appreciate your support. Be blessed.